she was applying for an internship at a very, very cool organization. There was a pre-event before the interview. She goes to the pre-event and there are as she discovers, there are hundreds of applicants interested in this. They're only taking a handful of kids. So it's super, super competitive, much more than she thought it would be. She comes home and tells me now how nervous she is because she really wanted to do this thing. And we came to this conclusion. So, well, there are a couple of games you could play here. One, we could play the game of get the internship, you win. Don't get the internship, you lose. It's probably pretty stressful leading up to that moment. And percentage wise, probably going to lose that game. Yeah. And she said, well, what other game is there? I said, well, okay, here's an idea. We make a list of all the things you could do to prepare yourself for the interview, right? Anything you can come up with. We're going to study the organization, think about what it might be like, what you're going to wear, all that stuff. And then the day before the interview, we're going to say, did you win the preparation game? Did you position yourself for success? And if that's a yes, then great. And even if you don't get the internship, well, are you going to work at this place for your entire life? Is this the only project you're ever going to do? This is playing a game that will help with future endeavors. Yeah. And it was really interesting because then she opted into that, felt great about it, was super prepared. And I dropped her off to go walk into the place for the interview. And the discussion over there, she said, it was really like, yeah, I could take her leave getting this internship now. And it was such a great moment as a parent, because it was like, oh, she's playing the right game. And as a result, she did end up getting the internship, but I think she only got it because it didn't matter to her anymore. And so the nervousness was gone. I think it's a really powerful idea.
Thank you for sharing that. And, I wish the punchline had been, sorry, daughter, that she hadn't gotten the internship, because we often conflate good decisions with good outcomes. And they're actually completely unrelated. And she made good decisions going into the internship. Whether or not there's a good outcome is irrelevant. She made good decisions. I'll tell you a couple college game stories, because most people can resonate with them. First one is 30 years ago, a friend's kid came to me and said, I want to get into Yale. And my dad said, you would tell me how. And I said, look, well, this is the game that everyone's going to play. The game that everyone's going to play is they're going to join the soccer team, join the student council, try to get really good grades, try to get a good SAT score. That line is very long. I said, the other thing you could do is you could borrow $500 and fly to India and then spend as long as it takes to earn enough money to get home. And that experience will put you in a totally different line for getting into Yale. And I gave him like 6 other crazy ideas like that. Well, he ended up writing a book called How to Get into Yale, or it's actually technically Getting into Yale. And I packaged it and we sold it to a book publisher, and MTV bought the movie rights, and it never got made into a movie. But the point is, the book got him into Yale. And the idea that you could find a different line is part of the game. And the other line is, you don't need to go to Yale. You don't need to. You could spend the same amount of money and the same amount of time to get dramatically better results doing something else.
If you enjoyed that segment, you can watch the full podcast episode right up here, and you can subscribe right up here. And if you really want to tickle the algorithm and make my day, you can do both.